The New World, as Europeans called it, was a place of thick forests, unfamiliar people, strange animals, and promises of great wealth. The English, hungry for land and opportunity, began planting their colonies along the Atlantic coast. By the early 1600s, they had founded Jamestown in 1607, the first permanent English settlement in North America. One of those early adventurers was a man named Henry Fleete, an Englishman whose life would take a turn so wild it could have come straight from a novel. Henry Fleete arrived in Virginia as a young man around 1621, part of a wave of settlers arriving to expand the struggling colony. At the time, Jamestown was the hub of English activity in the region, but it was far from safe. Relations with Native American tribes were tense, often violent, especially after the Powhatan Uprising of 1622, which killed over 300 colonists and shattered the illusion of peaceful coexistence. Not long after his arrival, Fleete set out on a trading expedition along the Potomac River, a major artery for trade and transport. But disaster struck. His group was attacked by the Anacostan, also known as Anacostan tribe, part of the Piscataway Confederacy, near what is now Washington, D.C. Many of his companions were killed, but Henry wasn't. Instead, he was taken captive. And here's where things get interesting. Instead of killing him, the Anacostans kept Fleete alive. For 5 years, Henry lived among them. He learned their Algonquian language, their customs, and developed deep insight into their culture and politics. He even became familiar with the Wahunsnakau-style governance of tribal alliances, where diplomacy and kinship ties mattered more than written contracts. While it had begun in tragedy, his captivity became a strange kind of education. By 1626, Henry Fleete was ransomed and returned to English society. But he was not the same man who had been captured 5 years earlier. Now, fluent in the local native languages, he became a go-between, a translator, diplomat, and trader. This unique position made him invaluable. While most colonists struggled to navigate native diplomacy, Henry could speak the languages and understood the nuances of tribal politics. He quickly built a reputation as someone who could get things done. When Lord Baltimore's ships, the Ark and the Dove, arrived to found the colony of Maryland in 1634, Henry Fleete played a crucial role. He guided them up the Potomac River and into the Chesapeake Bay region, helping them negotiate with the powerful Tayac chief of the Piscataway, leading to the peaceful purchase of land near the St. Mary's River. It was thanks to Fleete's diplomacy that the settlers were able to buy land and establish the first settlement of St. Mary's City without bloodshed, an astonishing feat in an era usually marked by conflict between natives and colonists. From that point on, Fleete's star only rose. He became a wealthy trader operating out of what is now southern Maryland and the northern neck of Virginia. He traded goods like furs, corn, and tobacco, the latter of which had become Virginia's cash crop after 1612, when John Rolfe began cultivating it for export. Fleete used his connections with both native tribes and English colonists to dominate regional commerce. He even played a political role, sitting in the Virginia House of Burgesses, the first representative legislative body in English America, established in 1619. Later, he would also serve in the Maryland Assembly, helping shape the legal framework of both colonies. He earned the title Colonel, not from military command in the field, but as a colonial honorific often granted to prominent landowners, magistrates, and leaders of local militia units. Colonel Henry Fleete died sometime around 1661. He left behind no direct heirs, but his legacy was significant. He had helped shape the early political and economic life of both Virginia and Maryland, and had proven that diplomacy, not just muskets, could shape the colonial frontier. In a time when most English settlers viewed Native Americans with suspicion or outright hostility, Fleete saw them as people he could work with, trade with, and understand. That made him rare. He lived in both native and English worlds and was trusted by both. His guidance helped avoid a violent start for the Maryland colony. He became a powerful man through smart trade and political influence. While not a household name today, Colonel Henry Fleete was one of those figures who shaped history quietly, behind the scenes, with words instead of weapons, and with understanding instead of arrogance. As always, thank you for watching. If you want to learn more about American history, please like, share, and follow.